Welcome back.
To immersive reactions.
And, whew,
And I just start off with one thing real quick.
yes.
I am so excited to get in to this episode of Game of Thrones. The last episode was wild. And I'm pumped! Pumped!
That's good. It is the beginning of season 3.
Mm.
And it's been, last season was unexpected. For me, at least. There's quite a few things I've been thinking about after watching it. And I guess we just didn't understand what the story was. Because for thematic reasons, we didn't understand it. Because we went from season 1, which was very character focused, very
Mm-hmm.
introductory, and the show went in a different direction. Not in a different direction per se, but a different way of telling a story later, and I want to get into that a little bit, but before we do that, what are your most anticipated parts of this season? What do you think's going to happen? What do you want to happen?
I think we're gonna learn more about the Whites and the White Walkers now. I think that's evident. So
Yeah.
I want to grasp onto that. What I think is going to happen is that Arya is now going to take her own, because she said that she wanted to go with that red-haired guy who lifted his face last time, but she said that she also has more things to do, more important things. So I think she needs to do that. What else? Jon Snow, I want to see where he goes to, because now he's with the wildlings. He saw all those armies above the mountains. I want to see that.
I'm going to jump in.
Yep.
That's what I wrote down too, is where Jon Snow's journey is leading, and if this is more of a step for him or a complete transition in his character, where if he's going to join the wildlings now and abandon the Night's Watch. I don't think he is. And what killing the half hand, Corin half hand, means for him rejoining the Night's Watch if he's able to now because he killed one of his own. I don't know how he could convince someone that Corin let him kill him so he would join the Night's Watch. So there's a little stuff there. Tyrion, now that he's not Hand of the King, he still wants to be involved, but I don't see how he can do that. And there's so many people going to be like gunning for him, wanting to take him down. And now that he's lost a lot of his leverage and power.
Yeah, they just push him to a side, into a room.
But again, Tyrion, maybe that's a good thing for Tyrion because when Tyrion is, it seemed when he had the power, to be honest, it didn't really change much. He's still able to talk through things and like outwit people, even though he didn't have power in the first season. He was just a kind of guy walking around. He got captured and then came back. And my another question I had was that I hope is answered is what kind of power does the Red Woman have over Stannis? And is Stannis really in control of the situation, or is she in control of the situation? Because a lot of that was brought up with Sir Davos and him talking about the Bannermen won't believe in you
Mm-hmm.
because this foreign woman is leading. And he's, you're right, you're right. So I wonder what exactly the power she has over him is. That's interesting. And Daenerys, I don't know. She doesn't have enough strength yet to move to Westeros to do what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And is this season going to be another kind of season of her proving herself, making a name for herself, getting allies? Her version of allies is I go to a place, I become their leader, and I kill everyone that disagrees. That's what she did. She did that with the Dothraki. She got the Dothraki. She did that with Karth. She got Karth. So she's able to. She is like when it comes to her brother in the beginning of season
She's just.
1, she had no power. Her brother also had no power, but I don't think he was able or capable of doing the things that she has done
I
up
think
until this point.
she has a way because she has dragons.
The
Things on
dragons don't
fire.
mean anything though. Besides the gravitas of having dragons. The dragons aren't burning anything down currently.
But just killed a man in the last
That's
episode.
the first time they've done something. The very first. And that was in a to save her. No one saw that instance happen. It's different between a dragon flying over your city and burning it to fuck and then
She has the same verbiage or way of getting around things as the way Tyrion does. Where we can convince people. That's what I...
Yeah, I think she's a
Maybe.
little less skilled in that than
Well,
Tyrion.
she's crazy right now.
I don't think she is as good as Tyrion in talking her way through things. Robb and Talisa's marriage, it's going to have consequences. Is it going to be small or large? Are the consequences going to be isolated to him or isolated to the North? Is it going to hurt the North? Are the Bannermen going to leave? Is he going to have to retreat home? He should. In my opinion,
Yes.
he should go home. I don't care what anyone thinks at this point. He has broken his oath. The only safe place in this world for him is home.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to go home.
I agree with that.
His bannermen are either going to turn on him and kill him, or the Frey guy is going to take his people home, or any other malicious thing. And he is top of the people I think who might suffer this season, because that is a big, and just going back to the history of the Freys and how the Freys think everyone looks down on them and
Yeah.
shits on them.
Even told Lady Catelyn about no one came this, no one came that, no one was here, no one was there. He already had a bad attitude.
What that character is capable of is yet to be seen. But Robb is in a dangerous place, and I don't see it going well unless he goes home. Is he going to have the fortitude to say, okay, we did our best, we're going home, we need to regroup, re-strength, maybe come back in winter time, maybe come back when the winter comes, because the Starks will be fine.
Yes.
Because if the Starks go home for now, wait for winter to come to Westeros, the Starks can go to war during winter and be better off than everyone else. Basically, the North has come to the South. They can make that a nightmare for them. How logistically possible that is of the North going on campaign during the winter, that might be a very challenging thing. It might be impossible for them to take all of the men away from the North in the wintertime. Might put too much strain on the North. I'm not sure.
Besides what I had noted earlier?
Yeah.
No. Besides, I really want to know about Jon Snow. Oh, how could I forget? Sansa got out of her engagement to that monster.
Yeah. Is she going to be able to leave?
That is.
Or escape? That's my hopes.
That is.
Game of Thrones is going to crush my hopes and dreams. But Daenerys finds allies that will help her, and she doesn't have to destroy. So she doesn't make this name for herself that's one of a tyrant, because that's the direction she's going. That Jon Snow can somehow make an alliance between the Men of the Night's Watch and the Wildlings to help them against the White Walkers.
Yeah.
Because they can need each other.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I think Game of Thrones is not we hold hands.
No.
Type of
dance around a sharp object, not to die.
And so that being said, I want to get into the themes, the motifs of the show that I'm starting to that like the laying the groundwork of like where we want those characters to go and where we think the characters are going to go and where we know. There's a few motifs I was writing down, but it all comes around in a circle back to one thing. And it's the thing that I was talking about in the season finale of season 2, is the difference between the freedom in this world and the oppression, the oppressive nature of this world. There's those two things, and everything revolves around back to it. So there's other motifs like power and ambition of characters who want to gain power. Daenerys, Joffrey, who's vying for the throne has ambition. They want to do things. They want to but that's part of the oppressive system that's in place. Betrayal and loyalty. Betrayal in the terms of someone has done something wrong to me, and then a character who's loyal, and which is hard to find. With lack of loyalty and a lot of betrayal, it creates a system that's more oppressive. And I'll go through the rest of these. Family and legacy, survival and sacrifice, war and chaos, religion and faith, justice and revenge. Now, these are all parts that keep system going. Justice and revenge. Robb Stark wants to go
Mm-hmm.
get justice, but when does it turn into revenge? When is it too much? When is it bad for your people? Which is the whole thing he should be thinking about. Is this good for my people
Well,
or is it
he's
good
already
for just
proving it's
me?
not.
Which makes him no better than someone who's ambitious. He's just looking for a way to get revenge in the end of the day. When is enough justice enough? And he would say it's probably when Joffrey is dead and a rightful king goes on the throne. Because again, there's like a lot of problems with the system, and it's very layered. It's very deep. The more I look at it, it's like looking into a bottomless pit. And the overall arching theme, I think, of the whole show, and it could change, but I think is the Seven Kingdoms becoming free of the Game of Thrones, of the throne. And it's if you look at England in that time, like a time that's representative of the show in not a fantasy way, it led to the Magna Carta, the rule of law, the like not the rule of a king, but the rule of laws, and which led to justice, real justice, and those types of things where this world doesn't have, and everyone's beholden to the whims of a few people. They have to go off to war for the whims of a few people. Their village gets raided and the women get abused and people die like all the time for the whims of a few people. The oppression. And it hit home to me. It started hitting more with John versus the Night's Watch, where he's questioning his place, where these people are just trying to survive. They're just trying to be free. Something John is not, it's not foreign to him, but he doesn't understand what their version of that is. He understands the version of freedom he knows, which he's given up a lot of his freedoms for this order, who's to maintain order in this lawless area that they think is like full of savages. But in reality, it's just people who want to rule themselves, which is like the wildlings have the way, the real way of how the kingdoms should work. But everyone thinks that they're the bad people. And the Night's Watch versus the Wildlings in that way where they're fighting each other, but and there's overarching problems. Don't get me wrong, this isn't the only thing, but they all stitch together to equal this freedom versus oppression, this versus nature versus people versus the White Walkers, the dragons, people's aspirations, people's ambition, people's trying to survive, people sacrificing for other people, which is a low amount, but a family has a huge thing to do with it. People's legacies are on the line, things they've built up their whole life, and they have power. To enforce a legacy, you have to put on an oppression to the other houses, the other lands, and it puts a strain on everyone. That's I don't we're seeing it in that first season when they came through the city and Joffrey got attacked in the city. We're seeing the oppression of the people manifest and they're getting angry. So there's a stress on the whole land. It's not just King's
Mm-hmm.
Landing. And but the people who are driving the ship are blind to it because they don't care. And so when will it come to the point where will it ever is my question. It's my if I were to say my season long over the seasons question is will this world ever get to a point where it realizes it's its own problem? So that's what I wanted to hit on the themes portion of it, but that's where I'm sitting after after the first two seasons. It's very interesting and I'm very into it now. I've gotten through the first two chapters of this story, and so let's get into it. Let's do this, and I can't wait to read the books as well. Is there anything else I forgot to say?
And tighten my dress straps
Go ahead.
quickly.
I'm just thinking. Forgot anything. We want to make sure we thank you guys
Mm.
for this crazy we've gone on.
Mm.
My stupid recordings don't pop up until I change the. But there's a. How do I say this? We're at 2020 subscribers. Throughout the first two seasons, you brought us from season one to
Mm-hmm.
now. 16 subscribers to 2019 subscribers.
The Game of Thrones fans are extraordinary.
Yes. And we don't have a lot of time to do the channel recently. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, if you just want like a report card, was very low in views. And I think that's just YouTube at this point.
Yeah.
I think views are down all across YouTube because I'm hearing from other people too that viewership is down. How much that has an effect on my channel, it's a few hundred per video. It's not a terrible amount. Comments are great.
I love reading them.
I haven't gotten a negative comment in a long time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a few weeks
Mm-hmm.
since a negative comment. I I think we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You guys let us know if there's something you want us to change and
Yeah.
or talk about or a video concept that you want us to try. We're like in the stages of reacting to it for the first time, so we can't really make a lot of secondary content to the show, unfortunately. But
History and lore, yeah.
besides history and lore, and yes, that's about it. Thank you. Yes, let's get going.
Let's do it.